Gaiman, or I love his works, and yesterday I got something really nice in the mail. I got this book, which is Creatures of the Night by Neil Gaiman and Michael Sully, something. It arrived in my mail yesterday, and it is a Bookcrossing book. And of course, I had to read it immediately, being a Neil Gaiman fan. One of the fun things about this book is that it was actually registered in Norway, a little Norwegian flag. So it was in Norway, and then it was like traveling the world outside of Norway, and then it's back in Norway. Until, of course, I sent it off to Belgium. So, Creatures of the Night is a comic book. And it consists of 2 stories. It's Prince and The Daughter of Owls. 2 beautifully written stories, and it's very Neil Gaiman-y, in my opinion, which is some of the things I love about this. If you've read The Sandman, it in many ways will remind you, well, at least it reminded me of Sandman, the Sandman stories, but they are still different because they have nothing to do with Sandman. I love the artwork. Look at this cute kitten. It's so cute. So the first story is The Prince, and it's about a stray cat who comes up to this guy's house. He's a writer, and every night he goes out, the cat goes out, and when he returns, well, first he thinks that the cat isn't really a stray. He looks so good, and it's probably some neighbor's cat or something, but then it turns out that he's not, and he turns to stay. However, during night he goes off into the night, and when he comes back in the morning, the black cat, he's all gashy, and he's been fighting with someone, and he's trying to understand who he's actually fighting with, and one morning he turns up really bad. So for a while he puts the cat in the cellar, and while the cat is in the cellar healing, a lot of unfortunate events happens to this writer and his family. And then after a while the cat is well enough to go outside, and things seems to go right again. But what happens is that, of course, the cat turns up after a fight, after fighting during the night. It's like it's wounded and tired and doesn't look all that well. And then the writer decides to figure out who is this cat fighting. Who can it be? And he got this see in the dark I can't pronounce this word, binoculars. Binoculars. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not quite sure. I'm sorry. Anyhow, he got this see in the dark binoculars, and he decides to try and figure out. And what he sees is not at all what he expected to see. But I'm not telling you what, because I think you should read this book. As I said, the second story is called The Daughter of Owls. In the town of Dinton, a newborn girl was left one night on the steps of the church. The sexton found her there the next morning, and she had hold of a curious thing. That is, the pellet of an owl, which, when crumbled, showed the unusual composition of an hoot owl's pellet. That is to say, it contained skin and teeth of an small bounds. And for some reasons, the townspeople are really scared of this baby. They think that she's the baby of an owl, that she's evil or something, and that they decide to put her out into the woods, and that she's raised by this lone woman, lone nun who's left there, but she's old and she doesn't speak. And at some point, when the girl is just still a child, I guess, she leaves the girl not to return. And so this townspeople hear about her. They also get to know that the girl can't speak, and she's also this beautiful girl. This is when she's like 15 or something, and the men of the town decides to do something to her that is not very nice. I'm not going into details, but it's not very nice. However, for some reason the men, they don't come back the next morning. Wonder what happened. But being able to actually find out what happened, you will have to read the book. So this is The Creature in the Night by Neil Gaiman, which is a beautiful book of 2 stories. In my opinion, I loved reading it, but it was just too short. I especially like the first story about the cat. That was my favorite story of the 2. So, have you read this book? If so, I'd like to know what you thought about it.